Hi, friends. For part 59 in our series on the Constitution, we're going to move on to the Second Amendment, which contains probably the most highly debated comma ever used. And I mean that probably more than the Oxford comma for sure. Because depending on how you interpret the usage of the comma, based on like how were commas used back then in sentences versus how they're used today, how did the founders use commas elsewhere in the Constitution, etc., it kind of changes the meaning of the Second Amendment. Like, is it two parts talking about the militia, and then the second part talking about individual gun rights, or is it really just all one amendment? And really, that's a product of today's debate, right? Like, we use the Second Amendment as a means for debating like gun safety laws versus gun ownership laws. And really, the founders in the first Congress didn't actually see much of a difference between those two things. They had a much different intent behind this amendment than the way we debate it today. Their intent was about keeping separate and keeping well-trained the militia, and separate I mean from a standing army, because they were still very cautious, very leery about having a standing army in the United States. Stay with me for the next parts. We'll talk about this more, and stay woke, patriots.